The following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this week's episode of the Hallmark Greatness Podcast, a podcast dedicated to highlighting the views of all the Hallmark, Lifetime, straight-to-TV movies that don't get the admiration they fully deserve. I'm Anthony Burke, and with me are the two people who are the inspiration behind Laurel and Hardy. He's currently trying to impress Alan Thicke with some Christmas cookies. It's Joe Higgins.
And delicious milk to lubricate his throat.
And he's on the verge of extradition to Germany for stealing a DVD of a cookie cutter Christmas. It's Craig Lowe.
You say stealing, it was daylight robbery at £4.
Easy to say.
Two films on there.
Two films on one. Two Asylum Christmas films in one.
Yeah. If you'd like to keep up to date with all things Hallmark Greatness, you can follow the show on Twitter at Hallmark Great, Instagram at Hallmark Greatness, or if you'd like to get in touch with any recommendations or thoughts or anything you think we may have missed, you can email the show at hallmarkgreatness@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook by searching for Hallmark Greatness.
And Twitch.
Oh,
At Hallmark
Twitch
of Great. Yeah, I'd done a Twitch on Friday that was mostly successful.
I enjoyed it.
I don't know how you judge these things because it just felt weird to me, but someone asked if I could play through Doki Doki Literature Club. Again, it's free.
Don't read anything into it.
Please, no, I never do. But yeah, so I'll be doing that on Friday going forward for like 2 hours at a time.
Yeah, you're in for a wild ride.
2 hours at a time.
That's about as much as I can drink for. I need to go for a week. So.
All right. How are we both?
Yeah, fine.
Going slightly mental under house arrest.
Joe's nearly out of quarantine.
When are you back? Wednesday.
Yeah.
The good thing is, it's no longer halfway to Christmas, so...
no, we're out of the Christmas zone, but we're now into horny... the horny zone.
thirsty films.
Go on.
No, I was just saying, this is I think the horniest film we've ever done.
Definitely wasn't Hallmark.
No.
I can only imagine Dove.org would have had a meltdown with this one.
Had they decided to review this one, then yes, it probably wouldn't have been a great one.
Yeah, straight to it. Non Transferable is the film.
Boom. 100% hornier than Breaking Legs, I would say.
I don't know about that. Breaking Legs was horny for the wrong reasons for that guy who wrote it.
Yeah, no, at least this is adults in it, so I don't feel so bad joining in, with the horniness. Non-transferable. While attending a local tattoo convention with her girlfriends, Helen gets a tattoo of her fiancé's name, but due to a series of wacky shenanigans, she gets the first name wrong. Rather than explain this in a logical way, she decides that this is the wake-up call she needs and dates every man with the name Chip Haversack, which is the tattoo that she got. After meeting an eclectic bunch of characters, all played by the same actor, but in different wigs and fake noses and that, she realises that men are awful and she's better off alone and adopts a fuck ton of cats and moves to Portland, which is secretly Vancouver.
I mean, not a million miles away from certain plot points of the film.
No, but I thought it would have been better if all the other Joshes were played just by the same guy in hats and stuff. What's that film?
Craig, anything from the poster?
I don't know. I was kind of hoping it was going to be like The Terminal, because you get absolutely nothing from that poster except two people stood in an airport, which doesn't really happen in this film.
But someone pointed out as well, unless there was that plane in the background, it could have been anywhere. It could have been a Botanical Gardens or...
Yeah. I'm just like, what are we doing here? I'm not sure. It was Take Me on the Journey movie.
Someone pointed out on Twitter as well that if you can't change the ticket, change the man is an awful phrase. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. It's
just
not.
Just pay the 50 quid.
Anthony, did you not hear they are non-transferable? Because they mention it 40 times in the first 10 minutes.
If I happen to go at any point, it's because a screw's just fallen out of my chair.
Oh,
you're
having a nightmare today, aren't you?
Get video recorded. This is for the bloopers at Christmas.
The actual synopsis for Non Transferable. It's a long one today. Pack your bags for a whirlwind adventure across 3 continents as 2 strangers find out if love really is transferable. On the eve of a romantic trip of a lifetime, love-struck Amy is dumped by her boyfriend, and reservations are non-transferable. Determined not to miss out, Amy trawls the internet for a guy with the same name. This charming, laugh-out-loud take on modern love is a must-watch.
Right.
What was the third continent for starters?
Two continents, sir.
I thought that.
I mean, they must have flown over Asia
there
or
was
Africa to get there.
I was going to say, is there a layover somewhere where they just...
Turkey does split between Europe and Asia, I think.
Come on. Like they're walking down the centre of Turkey going, ooh, I'm in 2
continents.
continents.
In Turkey, they went.
I
think
couldn't
it
tell
does
you.
anyway.
Somewhere on the coast, I'm guessing.
Maybe it was when they were driving through the almond trees. They crossed over.
Yeah. And also, it says on the eve of the trip, and yet she has many days to spy on.
It's not. She has at least a week because sassy friend number 2 says to sassy friend number 1 that we've been doing this for a week at a certain point.
Sandra and I want to say Meredith was the other one, but I just called them police brutality and the horny one.
Yep.
That's what they were. Here's a trailer.
Oh shit! Yeah.
It's only short.
I cleared the dates with his firm, booked the flights, even double dipped on a few discounts because we have different last names. I planned it perfectly.
You've cashed in thousands of dollars and dozens of favors for this trip. In a month, I better see 2 carrots or a new man.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, I think
you say, girlfriend.
You know, just maybe from each other.
Well, at least I already started packing.
You've got to still go, Ames. I would kill to see Turkey.
You don't understand. They're non-transferable.
Yay!
Hotels, tours, even dinner reservations. I can't go without him.
Josh Merritt.
I mean, think about it. You've already prepaid for this 2-week dream vacation with Josh Merritt.
You can't change the tickets, but you can change the guy.
Do you really expect me to contact every guy on the internet with my ex's name? No.
Just the cute ones.
3 months ago, I invited a stranger from the internet on a discount trip across Europe. I wanted to go with the plan, not the flow, and I wanted to be here with Josh and not you.
If you're so good at planning, how'd you get to Europe with only half the people you plan to take?
This Josh is single, drug-free, and as far as we know, not a night stabber.
Not to mention, he
Knife
has a valid
stabber!
passport.
And a
I'll
big
roll that as
bag.
well.
What? That's important.
Knife stabber, different from fork stabber, like my sister.
I wrote that. I wrote spoon stabber instead.
Like Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, yes.
The main guy, listening to that then, I thought at the time he had a bit of an odd voice. Not odd voice, but I think he'd do well at
Brandon Bradley.
cartoon work.
Oh, V8, yeah, probably.
His voice would work quite well with that.
He's done a little bit of
passing
voiceover work.
comments.
He's a little bit of voiceover work, so...
Oh, all right, there you go.
State Farms, yeah.
It's just his voice sounds very cartoony rather than
don't know.
non-cartoony.
We open, as we always do,
San Francisco!
with a aerial shot of San Francisco and some aggressively jaunty ukulele music.
I've ever told you that I've been to San Francisco.
You have many times.
Yeah.
Yeah. You a big fan of the local football, soccer, gold sports team? I don't
Not a
know.
big fan, no.
Nope. The San
Wrong one.
Francisco 69ers.
San Francisco Kickers.
There's the 69 show.
Yeah. I thought it was, yeah. No wonder they never win.
Nice.
Establishing shots.
It was a proper intro.
Yeah, I know. You can tell it's a proper film because we get an animated credit sequence.
Yeah.
Now, this only happens when we have a real film.
Oh, I thought it was because they couldn't afford tracking shots, so they just robbed bits of Tron.
It could be that. There were only 3 establishing shots of San Francisco.
Yeah.
The rest of it had to be done in cartoon work.
We've got that program. Just get it on Google Maps. It's fine. And it's a courier delivering a package to Spontaneous Travel.
Spontaneous travel.
Where
she is a global concierge.
Yeah.
Not a thing.
They're currently dealing with a customer who has decided to go to Syria on holiday.
any time in the last 10 years was never a good idea.
Well, this was 2017, so
Yep.
I've not looked into it, but I'm fairly sure there was still fighting going on there then. It's like a
I think it
forever
was
war,
still
isn't it?
quite,
So-
yeah.
I don't think you're allowed to go.
That's why you get a global concierge.
Then people at work never got their passports back, did they? So
No, that's true.
Yeah.
no.
The ISIS members have to get there somehow.
Yes. I don't think spontaneous travel is funding terrorism.
I don't know.
You can't say that for certain.
I can, but yeah, we meet the annoying front desk woman. I don't know. We never see her again. She's annoying.
No.
And we then, as the guy goes to drop the package off, there is a gay best friend there.
Yeah. It's suddenly 1992.
Yeah.
Robert.
Is he called Robert?
He was called
I
Robert.
didn't bother writing it down because I found it incredibly offensive.
I just wrote, Robert has a punchable face.
And just like a sassy attitude, like
Oh, yes, it was over the top.
like Will and
campus.
Grace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is also incompetent at his job. And as this is a startup, he wouldn't be there. Sorry.
No.
They're working
Why?
on razor thin margins. They've got to be.
I don't know how they're making the money.
She explains later on. She
Does she?
goes on Instagram and gets people to give her
Oh, she did say
Backle-
that, yeah, right.
gets people to give her baklava, and then she tweets them.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you turn a profit out of that, but there we go.
It works. She's called Amy, by the way. Our main
Yes.
It's called Amy. Yes.
I wanted to call her Madison for some reason. I don't know why. Just she had one of those faces.
Yeah.
And it's her boyfriend, Joshua Mateless.
Merit.
Merritt. It's his passport because she's spent thousands
Thousands and thousands.
Well, actually, a friend says cashed in thousands, and I was like, that's a phrase no one's ever used in terms of money. You don't go to the shop and cash in money for bread.
I'm
do you?
cashing
money.
in these. I'm cashing in these notes in exchange for goods and services.
I guess technically it's correct.
It's correct,
Yeah.
but it's not a
Not a
phrase that anyone's
sentence anyone's
ever
ever
used.
said.
If she had vouchers, you cash those in. But
Yeah.
as money is essentially a token-based system for goods and services.
There was a few sayings in this film that was
Yeah,
interesting.
it was very bizarre. She's dealing with she's obviously competent at her job because she deals with the man in Syria and agrees to fly him to Greece, which I think in 2017 was going through some sort of racist stuff with the Golden Dawn.
Yeah, it
and
wasn't-
all that
wasn't
jazz.
Maybe
very
it's the
great,
only two countries they were allowed to say because they knew full well that they'd never watch it. They were too busy
Possibly, yeah. I'm not
fighting.
allowed to
or-
say countries in films, apart from like Korea and stuff. Like,
I was going to say, who are Turkey's main competition? They hate the
Yeah.
Greeks.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yes, that old wall.
Oh,
Yeah,
and then her
it's a surprise trip for her boyfriend because
Yeah.
it's their 2-year anniversary.
something like that.
I'm sure
just
she said
thought
it's
it
2-year
was longer.
anniversary. No, she said 2 years. She said they've been
Is it
together 2
2
years. Yeah, and she was hoping that he'd propose to her whilst they're on the trip.
because she laid all
Outside
these
some fountain. Yeah.
outside the fountains. That is the fountains of
Turkey.
Artemis. Yes, fountains of Turkey. Fountains of Wayne tribute
Yeah.
band. They only sing in Turkish.
Istanbul
No,
does Constantinople.
They make a joke about that later. They do. They might be giant jokes, and I was like, why? No, Fountains of Artemis. It's one of the last remaining bits of one of the 7 wonders of the world, which I looked up, and it is genuinely one of the.
Look.
Yeah, it's that and the pyramids are the only ones left. The other ones may not have even existed.
No, no.
Yeah, but we get a phone call from her friends, Horny Sandra and the cop, who isn't a cop.
Yeah.
She's a traffic warden.
Yeah, parking attendant. It's not even
Parking
traffic
attendant,
warden,
which is
yeah.
even worse, yeah. And they're like, "Oh, girl, yeah, you did
Yo,
it." And
Oh
so-
no, you didn't.
You go, girl.
yeah. And it was
It's very stereotype of all this, wasn't it? This film for these side characters.
Yeah.
well, they're not really characters, are they? They're there to further the plot along. I'm trying to find out what her name was because it's going to annoy me otherwise.
It's like Marcy, wasn't it? Something like that.
Marcy, it was Marcy. Yeah.
Yeah, July 16th, Space Jam.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's all over the bus stops now.
Yeah,
Wait.
Marcy and Sandra. Marcy, who is a traffic enforcer, parking attendant.
Parking attendant.
Yeah. She's a little car though, which I quite like. I like that. That's pretty.
Yeah, have you ever seen what's that film? Zootropolis. She's a parking little rabbit.
And Sandra apparently is some sort of
She
video
used to be a
blogger.
blogger for a coffee shop blogger of some
she
sort.
just hangs about in that.
Some sort of drama reporter for YouTube, but just does it in a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Well, she also goes on about coffee and
I
reports.
think
I guess.
It's very pun
percolators.
heavier. It's very pun heavier show.
Okay.
She's like, "Oh, I'm so poor, I have to record in a coffee shop." And then the woman goes, "Here's your coffee." And she says, "Oh, that's me." I was like, "Well, get it off the fucking counter. I'm not bringing it to you." They don't do that anywhere else, do they? Also, why have you brought all this equipment in with you?
That was a lot of equipment. If she's so poor that she has to film it there. Sell some of the equipment and do it on your phone. It's good
How
enough.
does she make money?
I don't know.
She says, "I haven't got enough viewers to monetize yet." So how is she affording all this equipment? Hate
She
it.
stole it.
Yeah.
Like Craig and the DVDs.
Hey. And they're like, "Oh, it's going to be so great. You've been saving up. You've cashed in all this money and favors and double dipped. So, like, you've booked it under 2 names and you've got twice the discount,
I didn't
which I don't
understand
think
that.
you can do."
I don't think it works like that.
It's a very misleading holiday as well, because they keep referring to it as a dream vacation to Europe, which in my mind for the first 20 minutes implied that we were going to go on a bit of globe hopping. We were going to go all over the place. I didn't think we were having a fortnight in Turkey.
The Turkish tourist board weren't going to pay for that, mate.
Well, I was going to say, but if you're cashing in all your savings, I can go online now and get tickets to Sharm el Sheikh for about 150 quid. So it's not an expensive do Turkey. So
No.
Yeah.
That
plane ride looked very fancy because those seats were not standard seats for.
First class, mate. Free whiskey.
There you go. That's where she spent all the cash, wasn't it?
No, she'd have done some wrangling. I didn't understand.
But back to the.
They agreed to go. That she goes to have this meal at Blarton's.
Wait. Question. She's on about the discount that she got.
Yeah.
Because she used. That's not a thing, right?
No.
Because if you just say there's a party of 2 and it's 50% discount, it still counts for both of you, not.
It's not like I want to book a party of 1 and a party of 1, but we're staying at the same place.
Yeah. I couldn't phone up a travel lodge and then you phone up a travel lodge and go, "I'd like to share a room with a stranger, please." You probably could, but you'd get murdered. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
It doesn't make sense. But maybe she Instagrammed them on the Twitters.
Yeah.
Yeah. They go to Blarton's to have their romantic meal.
It was empty, that restaurant.
Probably because it was filmed at like 7 a.m.
I was going to say, it's almost as if it was closed and we couldn't afford extras.
It tickled me because it's supposed to be some big fancy restaurant. It was just dead. Just empty.
Blarton's, mate. You've never been?
No.
No. And Josh, evil Josh, is already drinking. He's already had like a pint. So he's
There's no arsehole turn in this one. He's just an arsehole from the get-go.
Well, he just disappears. It's like, surely this character will return at some point in the film, but no.
He was an arsehole. They've been together 2 years, lived together and everything, and he just straight out the gate saying,
"I really don't like you."
Well, I think I don't know. Well, I genuinely thought that like as she started doing her video blogs again and stuff,
he'd be like, "Oh, you're so wonderful." I didn't blah blah.
Never see him again.
I mentioned it to Craig earlier that it does kind of wrap up and becomes a bit random quite quickly at the end. Whereas where that thing could have happened and normally happens in these films.
That's the twist, you see.
We got to the 90 minutes and thought, we've got enough here.
She's like, "But I've spent all..." Oh, she talks over him and he slaps the table. And then the waiter, who is the best thing in this film.
I wrote top waiter.
Yeah, just goes like, "I'll just leave you alone." And then he comes back round again and they're still having an argument. So he just mitches off. He's the best thing in it.
He was quite comical.
Yep. But she's like, "Oh, I've spent all this money on a thingy and it's non-transferable." Yay! And he's like, "I don't care. Go on your own. Also, by the way, we're done. Move out." And she's like, "Okay.
Yeah, all right then. I won't stay with
sassy best either friends. Sandra or Marcy. We don't know."
I mean, it was a bold move to make. I understand this. I understand the surprise things of it, but this trip was mainly for her. But she kind of masked it to be for both of them.
Well,
booked his time off for him.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what he did, but he may have been some kind of lawyer and had a closing argument.
Lawyer.
It's worth noting at this point as well, we're about 7 or 8 minutes into this film, and nobody has stopped speaking for the entirety of screen time so far. No one's even taken a breath so far. It's like a bad Aaron Sorkin production.
Yeah, it's very.
It really is.
It's
just like, please stop, take a breath. There is pauses between sentences, even between characters.
My full stop and comma keys were broke on my keyboard when I was typing this up, so everything just runs on to the next sentence.
I was like, if this is it for the next 90 minutes, this is going to be pure hell. Luckily, it isn't.
Pretty much. Yeah, there is. Anytime there's dialogue, there's a
good few montages in there.
Yeah.
She moves in with Sandra and Marcy, who I'm guessing share a flat together. Or
it looks like a bed-sit situation, yeah.
Yeah. And Sandra goes to order pizza, and Marcy is moving a box that has books, heavy, written on it. So that's good.
As opposed to the Books Light box, which...
Yeah. And they name drop the film again there. The tickets are non-transferable. And Ashley's phone rings. She panics. And she snatches the laptop off Sandra, who is looking at Join, which is the non-union Facebook, I'm guessing.
Yeah. But they had Facebook later on, when she's on Join. They had the Facebook logo as part of the comment section on it, yeah. Which is what confused me.
Some poor editing there.
Lazy graphics.
They had the Join website set up, like a comment section on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the Facebook logo.
So they've just pasted that over the top. Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
And he's ghosted her, basically. He's unfriended her. He's changed his profile picture and all this sort of jazz. So she goes, I'm not going to go through all these Joshes to find the one that's... And I'm like, I smell a sitcom.
But it wouldn't be that difficult to find him.
Not really, no.
Because
you must have had other mutual friends.
There's that also. Doesn't Facebook have sometimes it has your job, sometimes it has where you live.
You can do it based on location, so it'll search sort of outwards from your location.
I'm pretty sure you can
we find out, there's at least 6 other Josh Merritts living in this town. So
they make it sound like that this is the most common name in the world when they're doing the search. I went on the internet, did a bit of research this morning, and found out how many Josh Mellons were in this country, the United Kingdom. There are 30 in the entire country.
It's okay.
That's quite a lot. That's more than I thought there was going to be.
What's the population of the UK against the population of San Francisco?
Yeah, Christ, I'm a cracker.
I mean, it's not important, but the point is that, it's a fairly rare name, and especially in San Francisco, which, again, is quite heavily populated, but she doesn't specify further than San Francisco.
No.
I'm impressed that they got that many hits in a city, to be honest.
Yeah, they're all very local to where they're
like, come on, hurry up and unpack, and we can hit the club. And then the club they go to looks like the saddest pub I've ever been in. They're just sat in a booth drinking cocktails, and horny Sandra is just like, we should just get you a random Josh to go on holiday with. And
worst plan.
I mean, she does say he could be a knife stabber.
A knife stabber.
Yeah, which is a
it gets mentioned
thing.
Again that as well later on.
Yeah,
I mentioned knife stabbing.
It must be a prevalent thing. I don't know.
So specific.
But they're like, oh, well, it's the once in a lifetime thing, and you deserve this, and and they just sort of bully her into it a bit.
They do, yeah.
Go on.
It's
go away with a complete stranger.
What's the worst that can happen? He murders you and throws your body into the Mediterranean.
That was going to happen anyway.
Have you checked the extradition rulings over in Turkey?
So we get. She's Marcy says, I can just look them up on the police database system, and I'm like, that's an abuse of power.
But didn't they say no, you can't? You're a traffic warden.
Technically, I think as a traffic warden, you have access to the same information because you have
really.
You have to send the fines to people and stuff. Don't you?
I think her throwaway line is, "I work for the state."
Yeah, so she is still a thingy employee, but it's still an abuse of power. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
No. And then so we go on the great Josh hunt.
The great Josh hunt.
I was thinking, wasn't there a thing earlier this year where all Joshes got into a field and had a fight?
Really?
What?
It was a thing someone did on. I'm going to look it up now.
Surely not, because we've been in lockdown for the past.
I think it was in America, mate. Yeah.
Parts of America have been in lockdown.
Josh fight 2021. Some guy on Facebook tagged a load of people with the same name as him and said, I think it was just throughout all of America, and he said, meet me at these locations on this date. We will battle, and then one of us will be the true Josh, whatever his name was. And it grew and grew and grew, and all these people met in a field with masks on and hit each other with foam noodles. And then a little kid won, and it was great, and it raised money for charity and stuff. But I thought it was a bit weird, but yeah. So that's a fun thing that I remembered.
Was it actually Josh's as well?
I think it was anyone of it. I think it was just anyone called Josh at that point. I don't think they had you have to show ID. I think it was just a bit of a daft laugh. Because the place he originally picked was like in the middle of Arkansas. It was just a field in the middle of Ark. And then like, the farmer's like, you can't have it here. So they moved it to like a park somewhere.
All right. Yeah, nice.
It was quite a nice, fun thing, actually. That escalated from a shitty joke to... Yeah. So we meet Josh, Merritt, and the Paper Hearts, who's this
is the band, isn't it?
This is the band, whose banner, they clearly hadn't planned on putting that "the" on the banner. Because it was Josh, Merritt, and Paper Hearts, and then there's a very small painting on the side. Who I've emailed Josh. I thought they were going to do like a whole series of them, so I could give them names.
Because I wrote down band Josh, and I thought, there's going to be more here. Nope.
But I thought, he's not as big of a dick as like they're painting him out to be.
I don't think he was. No, he wasn't. I don't think they painted him out to be a dick. It was just the sudden change. He was quite a nice guy who seemed like he was going to be, this guy could work, and then decided to start singing about Murderhead or something. I can't remember what the song was called.
Oh, I just think it was just because his music was like,
it was slightly screamo.
I think the song was called. I think it said at the end something like Murderhead.
No, the lady who was all over him said, "Are you going to play Falling tonight?"
No, honestly, the song. At the end.
I mean, I genuinely don't care.
It was called Murderhead.
Why would they back out of there? And I'm like, you're quite judgmental, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
He's got a song called Murderhead.
So. One of our songs ends with Prince Philip is a nonce. It's not like it's not true.
Yeah. Let's not get into your band, Joey.
Yeah. Oh, well, all right. But yeah, I just thought they were kind of judgy about him. And I thought, okay, well, this is why you're alone. It's why you're all alone, to be honest. Yeah. We never see you with boyfriends. You're more concerned about Amy's goings on than you are with your own. Yeah, and I kind of judge it. And then we get the parade of Joshes.
Josh montage.
So we get bad at golf Josh.
Yep.
That's it, right? So I only got 3. I may be wrong.
Oh, no, I didn't write them down in the end. We
got bad at golf Josh. We got chasing birds on the beach Josh, which I don't see what's wrong with that either. Like,
look quite fun.
Stupid birds, yeah. Especially if they were seagulls. And then we got drug dealing cocktail Josh.
Yes. I was trying to remember the other one.
Yeah. I thought there might have been more. They could have done loads of them. Like, had one in a clan hood or, something like that. But I don't know. It's edgy, isn't it? Do you know what I've been talking about? Arses and stuff all the way through this. So, and then throughout all of this, she's typing out these long diatribes to random Joshes on the internet where I'd have just copy and pasted it.
Yeah.
But I guess you've got to tailor it to each Josh.
It's the same sales pitch all around, really. You might as well do one email and just attach everybody to it.
Yep.
She only got one response as well.
Well, they
sort of allude to the fact that if you got an email saying there's a free holiday going, you would delete it in your spam folder.
Yeah, she just say Nigerian prince scam, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're going, you can't afford to be picky. And then I'm like, but you have been. Like,
very.
Yes. You've already turned down some perfectly good Joshes.
Angry at golf, Josh, fine. Chasing birds on the beach, Josh, he could have just been like, is that not free-spirited, running around on the beach?
Wait, why is it fine to get rid of angry at golf, Josh? He's got angry at golf.
He's just, but he gets angry at golf, so it's like, it's supposed to be a relaxing game, not a...
It sounds like an angry golfer defending here.
Yeah, all right. I don't really care. Golf's for weirdos. Sandra is a prick, I've written.
There's no argue for me.
Fair.
Have we got to the point where they go and stalk him and...
They stalk him. He drives up a mountain. Have they arranged to meet him up that mountain?
No.
See, that's what I thought. Have they not said meet us at this point and we can sort something out? Because he just appears to have drove up to the top of this sort of beauty spot
on a bike.
Yeah, on his little scooter. Looked around for a second and then pedalled off again. And it's like,
I think they just.
What was this stop off for?
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't understand. But apparently he has the buttocks of a stallion, which is what Sandra says. Because that's all Sandra cares about is physical beauty, because she's shallow. I hate her. And he's the only one that agrees, or the only one that passes there. Admittedly,
he's the only. She said he's the only one who replied.
I mean, I think they just spied on the other Joshes.
Yeah,
I don't think they. Yeah, which is stalking and weird. I don't know.
Very weird.
Yeah, but then they go to the airport on the day of with a sign that says.
Were they offering this trip for free?
No, they said if you pay some money towards it.
I thought it was going to be a little bit of money towards it.
Okay.
Not half that he ends up paying.
I don't think he pays half. He gives her a check. We don't see how much is on it, but she says she says it's heavily discounted.
Right. Okay.
Because he's constantly implying whenever they check into a new hotel room that I paid my half of this vacation. Why do I get the sofa?
I for some reason in my head it was for free, and I thought, why? If you're going anyway. Why are you offering this for free? If you've already paid the money, you might as well just go and eat Todd. But yeah, fine. If someone else is paying half of it, then
I would have gone on my own because I would have had a better holiday because of all the stuff she planned. It was
but that's why I thought if she was offering it for free, then there's no reason why she couldn't go on her own. If she was worried about the money.
And like Sandra said, she could have met some burly Turkish waiter and been had a go at it behind the bins.
She was only going for a fortnight, and half of the time she'd booked in his name. So the other half of the time she'd booked hotels in her own name. So just rebook those hotels. It's not going to cost you an arm and leg. You don't transfer it, then pay the extra. Don't transfer it. Just pay the extra 50 quid for a night
if she could afford all the stuff that she's
village.
Doing, definitely afford the extra 50 quid to
walk up to the lobby and say, "I'll share you on my Instagram feed. Have you heard of this?"
Yeah,
because apparently that's how Turkey works. You just go up to and take a picture and go, "Done."
I have to go to the hotel person and say, "Yeah, I booked this under my boyfriend's name, but he left me a week ago. Can I just?"
Yeah,
it was booked under my credit card. Here are my credit card details. Yes. Would you mind if I checked into the room instead?
Non-transferable.
It's not transferring it. I'm just taking the room I paid for.
And then they offer you a tin of crab juice. Yeah, he arrives. They think it's this handsome man in a suit,
even though they've
just seen him.
Yeah,
like Sandra nearly drowns in a puddle of her own juices, and then actual Josh comes in with like a duffel bag looking a bit scruffy, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he's going on holiday.
Yeah,
I'm not wearing my best clothes to sit on the plane.
He's ready for a long day's travel. Yeah.
Dress comfortably, that's what they say.
I think he said that, didn't he?
Yeah.
They were asking what he's wearing. He's like, yeah, we're going on a plane for 12 hours.
Yeah, dress comfortably.
Suits and boots.
You're not dressing for when you arrive on your holiday. You're dressing for the travel.
Yeah.
I never understood that. They get on the plane. The other two are like, oh, if he murders you. Yeah, well, they're in first class, I'm assuming.
Fancy seating.
Whatever. Well, they get free drinks.
It wasn't economy.
Well, we get the first of the hilarious comedy routines where we find out his name isn't Josh when they try to get through.
Yes,
trying to get through security. His name is Michael Joshua.
Yeah, and he's like, oh well, she stomps off, doesn't she? Because she's like, oh well, we're going to do this anyway, and you can have your return ticket when we land. So why go in the first place? And the security guard, obviously, like,
yeah, we get a 5-minute sketch essentially.
Yeah. The security guard was from pre 9/11. I can tell you that much.
Was very stringent until they had an argument in front of him, and then he's just like, nah, it's fine, on you go.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. They do make jokes about having stuff up his bum, and he's like, I'll find it up there. And he's like, oh, you say that to all the boys. And I'm like, mate, if you did that now, they would just shoot you.
Yeah. You are not getting on that plane, and you'll be blacklisted for a while.
The first things out of his mouth were, do I look like a terrorist?
Yep.
He's straight away into a back room at that point, without your feet touching the floor.
Especially when she comes over and says something about drugs as well. It's like, why don't you say bomb and have the whole... But yeah, he just like, they have an argument about, like, he's sort of almost give the game away.
Yeah. He tries to pretend that they're together.
Yeah.
Relationship-wise, and she doesn't quite get it.
Michael, the security guard, waves them on, because his name's Michael as well. We see him later on, actually, as well, in the coffee shop.
Yeah, he's at the end, yeah.
And he waves them on, and they're like, that was, okay, that's not how airports...
We played this well, wink.
Yeah. They get on, he gives her his half of the money in check format, which she then puts in the back of the chair in front, which I thought was
never to be seen again. Yeah,
she's forgotten about that.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to order a drink."
Yeah,
and she's like
any person would do. Yeah, any normal person on a flight, give me a drink. I am now officially on holiday. As soon as I sat down in the seat, give me booze.
I mean, admittedly, how he's not had like 5 pints in the airport bar
already,
because he's not British. £6 a pint, lovely. I'm on holiday. Yeah,
but it's 4 a.m. I don't care.
Yeah, the only time your alcoholism is allowed to be validated is when you're on holiday. And she's like, "No, you're not drinking." And he's like, "Fuck, I'm not."
It's the red flag, isn't it?
I'm on the plane now. Fuck yous.
Yeah.
I've paid you. I'm on the plane.
Yeah. Well, basically, I would have been like, I've paid. I'm doing what I want now.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, I'll have a double," and she brings it over, and he gives her that because they have like an understanding of something. And then the plane takes off, and he's like, I'm scared of flying. That's why I normally have a drink. I'm like, well, one Jameson's isn't going to take the edge off, is it, mate?
No, not at all.
Just me. And you mixed it with lemonade as well, you heathen. And then he chucks up in a bag. Oh, I did laugh the bit where she tries tipping it into his face because it was just quite funny. I thought. It was just silly nonsense. I also like the fact that when they were taking off, the stewardess is like, calm down, we're taking off. I was like,
it's the quickest takeoff ever, though.
Yeah.
Because instead of taking off, he pukes up in a bag and the stewardess comes back. Yeah. Surely that plane is at an angle that should not be.
Yeah.
Stewardess.
And then we get the Turkish tourism board.
Yeah, here we are.
Nice image of Turkish Airlines.
Only destination for the film.
Come see our domes, our walls, and our people.
This is a very fantasy version of Turkey. It must be noted. Yeah. I've been to Turkey, and when they visit that market later on in the film, there is not a single person dragging them physically into their shop saying "You buy, you buy."
Yeah.
I can say Turkey looked very nice. So
it's a lovely
tourist board.
Yeah.
They check into their hotel.
She said the word penis, Joe.
She does say the word penis, as long as you don't get your penis out. And I was like,
that's what I knew.
Going to the bathroom is going to be difficult for me then, isn't it? And as soon as she lands, she gets a phone call from Marcy and Sandra. Yeah, she's having to go and have a shower because he stinks, which is understandable. Yeah. But also, you've been on a flight. You're going to stink as well, aren't you? And they're like, oh, we're in Istanbul. And then the other one says, not Constantinople. And I'm like, don't be doing They Might Be Giant jokes. You're not cool enough to do that.
What's They Might Be Giant?
It's never mind. It's not important.
Is that a film? Is it music? Is it a film?
No, it's a band.
No.
It's not even a They Might Be Giants song.
No, never heard it.
But yeah. You will have heard the Malcolm in the Middle theme tune.
Nope.
No, okay. Fuck you then.
Is it Blame It on the Weatherman by Bewitched?
Right. Yeah. And he goes out to shower, and then in the background he's just walking about with his abs out, like Johnny Sixpack.
Yeah. I wonder who the director of this film was.
Yeah, he did love himself.
Was it him?
Yeah.
Was it?
I'm just going to frame my abs.
Yeah.
He did that a few times.
And he comes over, and all the two other women are so thirsty, and they're like, "Move your face, woman, so we can ogle this man on the internet." And I was like, I think OnlyFans works the other way as well. But he just stands there with that, and Amy looks at him and nearly slides off a chair. Yeah. It's disgusting, this film. I hate it.
We're so used to Hallmark.
Yeah, I prefer the purity of Hallmark rather than the raw filth of whatever this was.
Mentioned if it happens.
This is where I've got, is this film more horny than Breaking Legs? Yes.
Yeah, it was. Particularly later on. Yeah, then they go for a meal that she's booked in. It's a very, very high-class meal.
It looks fancy.
It looks very nice. And she's got everything planned out to, like, the second, essentially.
What wine they're having, etc., etc.
Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't order his meal for him to say what he's going to have, because that's what old Josh Merry had.
Yes, but he's quite happy to do it for her, though, very shortly afterwards.
Yeah, no.
Because...
but he knows what he's talking about.
He speaks Turkish. She asks if they have a 97 whatever wine, and he's like, no, allow me to talk to you. Turkish phrase.
To ask the expert.
Yeah.
Because there are an abundance of grade 9 teachers over in America where their teachers speak Turkish, Latin, Japanese, all the rest of it. They might do, but I would imagine that they're probably in another job if you're that multilingual.
Yeah, I'd have thought you'd be a translator, surely.
Yeah.
He has a degree in Italic. No, not Italic. That's the joke she makes, isn't it?
Yeah.
In I'm assuming Mediterranean languages. Yeah. But she didn't know that because it was hidden on his profile. There's a whole bit.
She hadn't done her research necessarily.
Where horny Sandra adds him as a friend. And
he says ask the expert for the wine recommendation. I wouldn't automatically assume that a waiter is the expert, because they're just told to upsell the shittiest wine.
The most expensive one, then, please. Yeah. He's not sommelier.
No. He did his research on her, though. before coming out.
Yes, he did, because
he's a sensible gentleman who realizes this is probably not the best idea to go on a 2-week vacation across the world with a complete stranger. Better make sure I know who it is.
Yeah, or at least have a rough inkling that they're not a stab murderer.
Yeah.
Knife stabber.
Knife stabber.
Knife stab, kill murder. Yeah. They have this meal, and then they have like a walk through the city streets.
He calls kids little bastards, and I thoroughly enjoyed that.
He does. He hates his job. Understandable. Who would be a teacher? And she's like, no, I've got something special planned for us. And they go into a bakery, which, after you're at a meal, what I often enjoy to do is baking.
I think we're meant to believe that it's now about 3 or 4 in the morning, because that's the only reason a bakery would be open, making the fresh batch of goods in the morning.
Says, I've just made this batch fresh.
This is the first batch of the day.
And she puts them down and she goes, these are perfect. And I'm like, they look like shit.
So these literal complete strangers have been walking around since daylight, because we were at the restaurant in
the sun was going. The sun was going down, because that's why she planned it so that when the food arrived, the sun would have just dipped, and the Turkish lights will have all turned on. No.
So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It was till 3 o'clock in the morning, so they've been wandering around for about 4 or 5 hours.
No, they could have had a big meal. Could be many courses.
It could have
been. We don't know much about Turkish cuisine outside of kebab.
Also, we don't know when the sun goes down in Turkey.
I think it's the same time as everywhere else in the world.
Yeah,
not necessarily. You go
depending on what time of year, but I think it's nearer the equator than us, so it's not going to be that much different. Anyway, I'm not getting into fucking geography.
Finland.
No, Finland's more northern, though.
No, I'm saying that they have days where...
Because it's nearer the equator, it's going to be facing the sun more or less all year round.
Oh, I love the hand movement you did there.
I know, right. They're perfect. And then she's like, no, now we must tip some honey, put some gold leaf on it, and an annos, which made me laugh.
She said annos?
No, she said star anise, but I wrote annos because that's funnier.
Well done, John.
Yeah. I have to amuse myself, sorry.
Yes, fair.
And then we get food noise as she makes him eat it, and he goes,
You really pick up on the food noises in the last couple of movies.
In films, mate. I just don't understand why they have to include
misophonia, I think that's called.
Misophonia.
I think that's genuinely called, I think.
No, I believe you, yeah. But I hate it. It just makes me nauseous. And then she's like, oh, what's the secret ingredient? And she pulls out hooch. And gets her drunk.
She does, yeah. He said it's the equivalent
of moonshine.
Moonshine, yeah. But I don't understand why he didn't speak to her in Turkish.
Fuck her, she's only a baker.
I think it's raki as well, weren't it? It wasn't anything like moonshine. It was just local liquor.
She didn't. It wasn't raki. It was something else. But yeah, it's going to be rough as fuck. Yeah.
I thought it was raki, but they were just saying it wrong. I think they were like raki, and I was like, "Are you trying to say raki there?"
It's a possibility. But they sit in the bakery and get leathered with the baker, which is like the drunk bakers from Viz. And then they walk home. She's doing amazing good drunk acting, i.e. it's terrible.
Thank you. I couldn't tell if you were serious there or not.
No. She's like, oh, and my job's this. And isn't this when they have to think about concierges versus like travel agents? Because that's how she got to the bakery, by like, I found them.
Yes, that was pre-drinking, weren't it? Yeah.
And all this sort of jazz. They go back to the hotel. She passes out on the bed and's like, don't leave me, Josh. And he sleeps on the couch. Good night.
She wants him to kiss her. And he reacts very badly to that, saying, I'm not some rebound, calm yourself down, love.
And then also, your breath stinks of annos.
Right, she's very drunk, like very, very drunk. He puts her to bed, but puts her in a way that she could very easily choke to death.
I mean, maybe that's what.
And also, just vague, only just about on the bed. Then feet are hanging off the edge. Just shoved her up a little bit more, mate. You've got the full bed there.
I was very concerned for her well-being.
But then the worst example of what happens in films, he then just goes and lies on the sofa and goes to sleep in his full
instantly
suit that he was wearing that night. It's like, go get changed, go into the shower, brush your teeth, get your PJs on.
Do that.
I mean, I've been that drunk when I've just slept in my clothes, but not for a very long time. And certainly not if I was in charge of someone else's well-being as well.
No.
Like I say, you put her on her back, and that is dangerous.
That's how Jimi Hendrix died, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, he choked on Rocky.
Very different film if he'd woke up and she'd been dead in the hotel room.
Also, like...
That would have been a hell of a twist.
You know he had a cheeky squeeze, didn't you? Like, he looks the type, doesn't he? Yeah. Oh, I woke up with bruised knuckles. Yeah, and then it's just like a whole series of boringness for a while now.
It's a series of misadventures, isn't it? It's like,
look at next day when they're driving.
Yeah,
this is driving through the almond fields of Turkey, the great famous almond fields of Turkey.
Well, she was very, very drunk that night. She did not seem to be slightly hungover.
It's a rental car anyway, mate, so it don't matter.
Well, even so.
Yeah, they're on a tight schedule. He's in charge of the directions that they've printed out from fucking MapQuest or something.
2017.
Yeah, we've got a route planner going here.
Yeah,
no, GPS is our thing.
Yeah, he holds it near the window. A crow steals it or something. I don't know.
It just flies out the window. At this point,
a bird stole it.
No, sadly not. Oh. But this wasn't like a main dual carriageway or anything. This was just a little side road with no
small
other cars.
country road.
Yeah.
He could have gone to stop.
He could have gone. Oh God, I've just shot that out the window. Break for a second. I'll go get that.
Oh, also, this road seems to go on for about 12 miles. Follow it. There's no turn-ins.
Yeah, turn right. What?
She kicks him out. He keeps saying, "Is it working?" Which annoyed me.
All throughout this, he's on at her quite a lot for being too rigid in her plans, and she needs to.
And she's a free spirit, and he's a free spirit, and
which is weird because her thing's called spontaneous travel, and nothing spontaneous about it really. If she's planning it this much, but
yeah,
actually,
yeah,
occurred to me now.
Yeah, because even when she explains, like, if your millennials take 9 holidays a year, and I'm
9 holidays a year.
It's like dreaming, especially over in America as well, where they get 0 vacation days. Ain't nobody taking 9 vacations a year.
She then explains, isn't it, that if your work sends you somewhere, why not take a day off sick and see the city? And I'm like, because I'd lose my job.
Very quickly.
It's funny. Every time we send you away to something, Joe, you have a day off sick afterwards. Yeah, I know. It's weird, isn't it? I should stop drinking the local water. You were in Memphis.
In Austin, Texas.
Yeah. But... she kicked him out of the car for some reason. I can't remember. Some bollocks.
Yeah, I just can't remember what it was.
For being a cheeky chap.
Yeah, she remembers the booby honking from the night previous now. It's all coming back in an Anos full haze. And she drives off and says, "I'll meet you at the coffee shop in the next city." And he goes, "A coffee shop in Turkey. How hard's that to find?" And I was like, he's correct. Like,
yes.
He finds her.
Why is there a lot? I don't know.
Turkey's quite famous for its coffee. It's like a whole, it's like a whole ceremony thing they have. It's like pouring it from a big height and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Turkish coffee's nice, but you can see it in the future after drinking it. Yeah. And they're in this thing. They sit outside and they're like, "You're too rigid. Well, you're too free spirited. Let's call the whole thing off."
He walked the whole way in the middle of summer in Turkey. Not a bead of sweat
shade.
Nope. Not even.
Bugs me.
Yeah. Yep. No water.
Nothing.
Arrives, drinks powerful coffee, so he'll be even more dehydrated. Yeah.
He looks fine.
And then we go to some more of the Turkish tourism boards footage. Yeah. The indoor market. Come see all the wonders of Turkey. Rugs, spices, men with curly shoes on, perhaps.
Is this where she's agreed to like kind of relax a little bit so he's going to show around? And
they go. He goes and buys her a tourism bracelet. That's made of a local quartz that dispels negativity. Is it working?
Daft, yeah.
Yeah, he keeps saying that, but he speaks to the lady in Turkish, which I thought was nice.
Yeah.
And then he buys this thing, and then they have a series of montages around this mall. Copper mugs, Turkish delight, almonds. Yeah, it's all the things you could ever need.
Top-notch key rings with your name on it.
Turkish eyes as far as the eye can see.
But there is no port license plates. This week. My son is also. And there's a series of montages then of them palling about.
They're getting along very well suddenly.
Him refusing sun cream because skin cancer is for men. And then he gets sunburn, and the next day it's gone. So he must have got that sunburn that lady had from when she burnt her feet that time on that other one. Yeah. They're getting on fine, and the next day they're leaving the hotel in a rush.
To catch a boat.
To catch a ferry over to the next island.
The only ferry.
Last ferry that day.
Last ferry that day, sorry.
And he's
9 o'clock in the morning.
No. When does the sun go down in Turkey? We'll never know.
Who knows?
8:39 tonight. I just checked it.
Oh, okay.
Good work.
So about the same as here then, yeah.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. they're running towards the dock, and he's like, "Oh, it'll be fine. We won't miss it." And
it was a really weirdly shot thing because the running just did not look.
Yeah,
right.
I was like, "Why is the guy on the plank like going?"
Yeah,
Like,
it
come
was
to me.
so bizarre.
So they run and jump and miss by like country mile.
Miles, yeah, no chance.
Splash in the ocean. All his stuff gets wet because it's in a burlap sack. All her stuff floats because it's in like
an expensive waterproof wheelie suitcase.
It's been a bone of contention for the two of them for some length of time now.
Well, she had to go in when he arrived, didn't he, for having the sack when he got to the airport.
And they're splashing around in the water, and wise, horny Turkish boat captain appears.
I was put saved by the yacht man, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, come on board," and she's like, "Oh, thanks for rescuing me. However, can I repay you?" And he's like, "Here's a snog."
He does, like, it's so weird.
It was more a figure of no, I think it was more like a peck on the cheek from a lovely lady, wasn't it? Although he does watch her walk off, like with a look in his eye.
Press the button, Joe.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. And maybe slightly uncomfortable. And then your man gets on, Joshua gets on, with his wet bag of clothing, takes his top off, and puts a dry clothing on that somehow wasn't wet in the bag.
Who knows? They seem to have perfect clothing for them on that yacht.
Yeah. Boat captain is like, "Oh, you're very lucky there with that one," and he's like, "Oh no, it's fine. We're not like doing it." Cut to them doing it like
instantly.
But she comes out in a white floaty dress. And
it's international waters, isn't it? So
it's the monkey knife fight, man.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, she comes out in a white dress, and he's like, and then then it cuts to them just doing it.
It's not even his yacht, was it?
No, he's like, "Come and fuck on my boss's boat." It's so bizarre.
Where was he? Did he say where he was taking? Was he going in that direction? I can't remember if he said.
He was just parked up, man. He was just doing maintenance or whatever. But like Josh goes to him, he goes, "You could take us," and he's like, "No, I can't."
No.
And he's like, "Oh no, Amy will sort you out with anywhere in the world you want to go." And he goes, "I want to go to California." So she's like, "Well, that's saved then, isn't it?" I was like, "You've still got flying to California."
That's still an expensive plane ticket.
Raw end of the deal,
Yeah, cash more of your thousands of dollars in.
Yeah, does it? You couldn't get much more of a more expensive flight, to be fair.
Unless she thought he was going to sail his way there on the yacht, then it's free.
I don't think those.
No, it's not. They don't
go over the ocean. I don't know. Shagging in a stranger's boat, not abusing hospitality or anything.
Well, they started to get on a lot more. This suddenly happened because they got deep into she got deep into her background as to why she's now a miserable cow. Because her ex Josh made her change her ways. She was quite a free spirit, and then he was.
Was this when she was drunk on the raft?
No, this was just before they kissed on the boat.
Okay. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh well, I just lost everything.
Yeah,
lost my job and all this sort of jazz." Yeah, and then they go, "Well, that's me horned up. Let's go. Let's go below deck."
Is this where we get the sad dog story?
What?
Is this where we get sad dog story? While they're canoodling on the boat, or are we not at sad dog story?
All I heard there was sad dog story, and then Joe pressed the button, and it just didn't make sense in my ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a couple of sad stories, and that's why they kissed and ended up going, as Joe said, below deck.
I'm going to say the most ridiculous. My dog was poorly, so I took a week off work, and I got the sack story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
He took her to the poop deck. Swabbed her decks with some
pirates.
Yeah. She does say that he smells like a pirate. We cut to Sandra doing a list of a load of coffee puns, and then it turns out her blog site is just relisting stuff that's already on Tumblr and stuff.
I couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah, I think it was just newspaper articles now are just people's opinions on Twitter that they've presented in a way that somehow makes it. Yeah, I think she just does that, which is why it's hard to monetize because there's 8,000 people doing that. Yes. But they're not doing it from a coffee shop, getting in the way of paying public as well. Yeah, I'd have kicked her out. It's just the same stuff over and over and over again now as well.
But she's doing her whatever it is that she does, and she gets the notification that Josh has accepted her friend request on join/Facebook.
Join book.
Yeah.
And she sees something that will shock your eyes, and immediately tries to ring Amy. It's some kind of news regarding new Josh.
Yeah, we don't know what it is. They get to their hotel. Josh acts like a dickhead and jumps on the bed, which I didn't understand.
And then takes his top off and goes for a shower again.
And he's like, I'm going to have another shower, because literally, I just shower constantly in these films.
Yeah.
We do get to see his butt through some frosted glass, though, which was a nice touch.
Then I realised he's the director. It makes all sense.
Yeah, well, he's going for that. Also, the shower screen had like a frosted image on it that looked like boobs as well, which I thought was quite fun. Yeah.
Ooh.
So you got butts and boobs right next to each other, which I thought that's equality, isn't it?
That is what everyone's fighting for, Joe. Put some boobs together.
She takes throws his duffel bag on the floor, and it all spills out, because of course, and there's a ring box inside, and she's like, "Pries it on," because obviously, whenever you find
what was that?
Yeah, when you find a ring, you've got to put it on.
Yeah.
It wasn't like she put it on a little thing; she put it on the ring finger,
on her wedding finger. Yeah,
yeah.
It could have had a hex on it or anything. You don't know. Yeah.
I didn't realise people did that. You find a ring, I'll just shove this on.
No, I don't.
No testing of whether it fits or not.
No.
Dobby cow.
And then Sandra and Marcy get in touch, and they're like, "Girl, he has a girlfriend."
He has a girlfriend. Oh no!
Josh has
4
a girlfriend.
years. They said the pictures go back 4 years worth.
Well, it says it's a blonde woman, and I was like, it's going to be his sister or something. And that's going to be like the fun.
Yeah, I
twist,
thought that.
Yeah, she's going to get all bent out of shape, and then he's going to be like, "This is why you're too uptight." And no, turns out it is actually his girlfriend.
I actually thought it'd be when we see heavy metal band Josh earlier on. There's a blonde girl falling all over him.
Oh, yeah.
No way that they could afford two blonde actors. It's going to be the same one.
Put a false nose on her. Go on, out you go, love.
But it wasn't. I thought that was going to be some kind of link, but no.
Nope. They go to the...
they did mention that he got a message from this girlfriend to say, "Where are you? I'm ready to give you my answer."
Decision.
Yeah. So it sounds like he's proposed to her, hence the ring.
Yeah. He comes out of the shower with his towel on again, because he's got to get some more body time on screen, hasn't he? And she's like, "I'm having a wash with lots of soap." And I'm like,
we're in the middle of a big comedy bit where she can't get the ring off her finger, like it's a sitcom from 1985. This is the plot.
Like it's that difficult.
Well, the thing is, when you put a ring on, right, you can feel if it's too tight. If it's not going to go over that knuckle, don't put it on.
But also, all you have to do is heat it up.
Won't be able to get it off.
Heat it up, surely. I don't wear rings, so I have no idea, but sure you can heat up.
There are options. You can wrap string around the inside of it. And
which is what they tried to do later on.
No, you've got to do it for a while. And it's like, But they go to these fountains of
the tourist board takes them to the fountains again.
Fountains of Artemis, where she's doing a tour. Which, again, I must say, if she's like, let's go and see the thing, she just books in for tours constantly, which is kind of boring for me. I like going and getting lost, but
it also doesn't seem like it needs to be as rigid as she was making out.
Well, she booked in to see all these like museums and stuff, and I'm like, once you've seen one museum in a country, you've pretty much seen everything. You know what I mean? Not being horrible, but you're in one Turkish city. Unless you go into like the Natural History Museum and then like the Penis Museum, and fun stuff.
Unless you go into the Hat Museum,
we all have.
What about the Science and Industry Museum?
It's not as good as it used to be. They've shut a lot of it off now.
Yeah, the planes are shut now.
Yeah. Lost funding, didn't it? I went for a meal there for Harvey's work thing.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah. I just drank the wine because nobody else wanted it. So I was like, Heidi.
Glug.
Yep. And she's like, I put this as my screensaver, and I did all this stuff so that evil Josh would know that I wanted to be proposed to here. And he didn't because he's a dick. And I'm like, well, he is. And you're also kind of annoying, though.
Yeah.
And good Josh is like, well, here we go. I'll propose to you here.
Why did he put the ring in his pocket?
I think this was his plan all along.
Was it?
No. Again, why he had that ring with him? Because unless he proposed that day on the way to the airport.
Well, no, he said he had it with him because he had to grab all his stuff and move out. We find out later on that he grabbed all his stuff and moved out.
Yeah.
He just dumped it all in a duffel bag.
All the stuff he had. The most valuable possession he had in the world, his $3,000 ring.
Yep.
But I don't know why on that day he put it in his pocket unless he was
falling in love with her. You know, like they jumped in. That was the thing. If you prepare to jump in the water with someone, you're in love with them. That's what wise horny Turkish sea captain says.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because why he does what he does.
And she's like, no. In fact, I've already got it on here. But you've got a girlfriend, you jerk. And he's like, well, you've stole my ring, you bigger jerk. Stop going through my stuff, innit? How many underpants did he bring with him? It's like, did he bring
want to watch
2
in the
weeks
sink every other day?
He's like a commando kind of guy.
Because that'll ruin any horniness. It's like scrubbing your gruds in the bathroom sink. He also didn't know what a bidet was, which I thought was quite funny, because they always make that joke in these films. It's like, there's a tiny sink next to the toilet.
I don't think Americans have anything close to a bidet. A bidet to use.
And then they just, he agrees to go home because he's had enough of this nonsense. Oh, no, they go and get the key cut off. They go and get the ring cut off.
They call each other selfish quite a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they cut it off. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
They go and see Turkish jeweler Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Who's like...
Who's now losing his insurance premiums for letting the customers use the...
Mate,
large
Turkey.
saws.
It's the same ones that they used to cut casts off where you can't actually cut through skin.
Really?
So, yeah.
But it can cut through the metal.
I don't know, but when I had my cast cut off, it cut into my leg, but it doesn't break the skin.
Your cast isn't made of much. This metal ring is solid.
Platinum, sorry, yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying, is that Anyway, they
it
cut
was
this off.
dangerous, is what it was. You'll never see that in a Hallmark film. That's a 5 out of 5.
2 out of 10.
Dog.
Ring damage. Ooh. And then he agrees to go home. He takes his return ticket and fucks off to the airport and goes, can I exchange this ticket? And she goes, standby is just here. And he gets to keep the ticket.
Yeah, and he puts it in his pocket in a really weird way.
Is now useless. Go into that room, that's standby. What about this ticket? Well, it's useless now. But what if somebody needs to see it when I go into this room for standby?
Nah, it's fine, mate. It's Turkey. We make the rules.
That's how tickets work.
Yeah.
But I don't like the way he put it in his pocket either. It really bugged me.
I thought it was the way they focused on it. I thought something was going to come of it because they sort of a weirdly way of putting it. I was like, is this going to come back?
He didn't nicely fold it up
stub or something.
No, like a child putting something in his pocket. He just shoved it in there.
Like me with receipts.
Yeah.
He
flies home. She continues on the holiday and then flies home.
Seem to. This is the part where I kind of got confused. I got confused as to who was where and what they were doing.
I can say that. How much holiday could they have had left? Really?
Well, that's what. Again, the ending of this film from here on in was very all over the place.
Yeah,
she flies back and has some words with wise Turkish woman, who was like, "My husband bought me a bracelet, and now we're best friends." And I'm like, "Well, you're obviously an idiot." Also, stop talking to me on the plane.
Yeah, that'd be the thing for me. It's like, leave me alone. This is 12 hours.
I'll
talk.
Oh, God, she's going to start going. She's going to get pictures out of the kids in a bit, isn't she?
I've got podcasts to listen to. Shut up.
And she's like, oh, well, maybe it is. But then Josh comes home, speaks to, I want to say Nancy or whatever is there.
Whatever, Maggie? Was it Maggie?
His ex-girlfriend?
Yeah.
But I thought it was like Rachel or something. But okay.
Anyway, he goes round. There's a man there with no top on as well, which ticked a lot of boxes. And she's like, no, I don't want to grow up.
She never wanted to marry him because...
Yeah, we were just having fun.
Yeah.
And I don't want to grow up.
Whereas you're together.
Whereas you're too serious and stuff. And I'm like, but he's meant to be the silly one. Oh, yes. Maybe.
Yeah.
He's the free
This is the
spirit.
twist. Yeah. So he then sells the ring, I'm assuming, and flies around the world jumping into water.
He seems to take the ring back.
He takes the ring back because the jeweler, goes
and assume that he's going to get his money back. It's $3,000 back.
Also, he'll get the majority of that back. He'll get like $150 knocked off.
I mean, I guess the band could be remade.
I will tell you now. As soon as that engagement ring leaves the shop, it halves in value at least.
Yeah.
Is it like a car?
Yeah. Engagement rings, diamonds are a fucking scam.
Also, $3,000. Is that expensive or not? For a wedding ring, I have no idea.
I genuinely didn't look up because he tells you the cut and the thing of the diamond itself. So $3,000's a lot of money for a ring. Yeah.
I don't know what you're supposed to.
I didn't spend that on mine.
No, I didn't either.
But there again, my missus isn't an asshole, so
fair.
You know. Yeah, he with this, I'm assuming what $1,000 he must have got back off that ring. A, it was damaged, and B, you don't get your money back on engagement rings. It's just a thing that jewelers are bastards like that. So with $1,000, he manages to fly around the world.
But hang on, wait, we get probably one of my favourite parts of this film. where his ex-girlfriend goes, "Can I keep the ring?" And he genuinely, it was like an office game. No,
that made me laugh as well.
It really tickled me. Yeah.
Are you good at laundry as well? It's all improv. That lady, best actress in it, apart from the waiter and horny Turkish sea captain. I genuinely thought as well she was gonna come and stop him at the gate, just so you could get annoyed.
There's so many things where you think something's going to happen in this, and you think this is how it should fit. This is how we've watched these films enough now to know what happens, and no,
subverting expectations
under the radar.
Yeah. He gets a flight out to somewhere.
He flies all around the world, jumping into water
and
filming it, or getting someone to film it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if he's got 4 million followers on whatever it is, by the time, I'm sure he's getting sponsor deals that will pay for him to go to the next country and jump into a
Vine, wasn't it? Which I don't think that doesn't exist anymore.
I think it was mainly on Vine, but there was YouTube as well, because they kept because horny friend goes, "Have you seen YouTube?" And she goes, "As a concept."
Yeah, hitting these things right at the peak of their powers.
Well, his aim was to. Oh, I wrote it down. His aim was
every corner of the internet.
It was to get himself trending that he's doing this, because he had a hashtag of "You make me want to jump in the ocean."
Yep.
Which is just a long hashtag.
Too long for a hashtag. Yeah.
No. This isn't the circle.
So he does that.
We get while Sandra is doing one of her blog things again, which again I don't understand how she makes money.
Passed.
Yes, we cut to Amy in her office. She's like, "I've spent the past 3 months trying to forget about Josh." All Joshuas in general. Yeah. Joshua in general.
We have to call him Joshua.
So there is a weird, random sort of news report thing about this with some other tweets.
Yeah.
Which is what they always do, isn't it? It's like, instead of actually doing journalism, we'll just copy and paste some idiots off the internet.
Actual YouTuber, though, apparently. After doing some research. Sort of like drama alerty.
I think that's Sandra Laser.
Yeah.
I think that's Sandra Laser, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say that like I know who that is. I looked up.
No, I don't think
before.
They actually got someone real.
I just thought, why has someone got Laser as a last name apart from that guy from Dodgeball? Yeah,
it's 2017 independent film. The easy way to get a couple of more 100 eyeballs onto your thing is to get some YouTubers on there.
But someone says, "Oh, this is in the comments." But someone says, "Oh, this is a lovely thing to do." Hashtag help Josh, and someone put. And the bit that I was like, "This is the horniest film."
Oh yeah.
If she says no, Josh, I'm wet. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
Quite a surprise that. I think that was the sea captain.
It's Manos, the coffee shop woman. Yeah, so she agrees to go on Sandra's show in this coffee shop that is a working coffee shop that sells coffee and cake to customers, and they sit down in there. And she's just allowed to hang around in there like friends in fucking Central Perk.
Yeah.
With all her,
with that, we now enter the fastest conclusion to one of these films in the history of rom-coms.
It was that quick.
It was like, right, what's happening? Oh Christ, it's the credits.
Yep. So they're doing this interview. Josh finds her. I mean, San Francisco, it can't be that hard to find. She must have mentioned her holiday company. She did mention her holiday company. Why not phone them up and go, "Hello, is this spontaneous travel? Can I speak to Amy, please?" Yeah, it's not. Yeah, he knows her name.
He knows she had
he did research
channel.
About her beforehand.
Yeah.
He did full research about her before they went away. He knows a lot about her and probably where she works and everything else. Where her family is.
Around the world like a plum.
Because
save that money and buy a house together.
Because he got it paid for by YouTube and Vine. The guy's a genius.
He's not. Sandra and Amy doing a thing, and she's like, "Oh, well, I realise now that I should have loved him all along because..."
What's the point in that? Because she says earlier on she doesn't get enough viewers for it to be monetized, so he's not necessarily going to be watching that.
But because of that, the viewership has gone up on it. She's got millions of viewers now.
Yes. Okay.
But it's old footage, so I don't know whether that's... I don't know. I don't understand how it works, mate. Josh appears, and he's like, "I love you. Always have." They have a snog. Michael, the TNA officer, he's like, "Hurry up!" And Marcy's like, "Oh, I'm going to show him." And I'm like, "Oh, great! This is not stereotypical in any way, shape, or form."
Every side character that wasn't in it for that much was a stereotype.
Yeah, stereotypical black woman, stereotypical horny woman. Yeah.
Guy at the beginning.
He says, he also says, I should have been jumping and jumping and jumping, twirling, twirling, always twirling.
Yes, he ends it with the best reference.
Oh, and then they kiss, and her leg is up, which is just like the silliest thing I've ever seen as well. I don't know, I think people actually do that.
Twirling.
Always twirling. Yeah, and then it ends, and that's it. And I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough.
Okay, it's done. It's over, is it? Okay.
Yeah. There's a little extra credit scene.
Oh, what?
Was that?
Did you stop? Did you genuinely stop?
I stopped it, mate. Yeah, I didn't think there would be an extra credit scene.
Oh, no,
It's not
just
a Marvel movie. I'm not waiting for the end credits scene.
We didn't mention that throughout the Turkey trip. I think he convinced her to start blogging again because that's what she did.
Yeah.
But at the end, I think, from what I can remember, because I didn't actually write down what it was, she's in front of camera talking about a trip, and he's there as well saying they're about to go on a trip. That was it. They don't say where. They cut off just, they're about to say, oh, we're going on a trip to, and then it cuts. Almost
End your film with that then. End your film with that. That would have been the nice part. Cut from the coffee shop.
No, it was an unnecessary thing. It was almost like he thought he was going to get a sequel.
Right, okay. So no one's watching the trailers of a fucking Hallmark film for a bonus bit of footage. Sorry.
No. Well, yeah, that was it. What did you give it out of 10?
I enjoyed bits of it. I'm going to say 4.6.
Okay. Well,
that's all right. As I mentioned to Anthony earlier on today when we were talking about this, it is just a sort of stereotypical rom-com. It's sort of dictionary definition rom-com. If it was on a Sunday afternoon and there was literally nothing else on, I could see myself watching this again.
Yeah.
But score-wise, because it was so horny, there was only really one score I could give it, and that's a 6.9.
Nice.
I gave it a 5.8. It's middle of the road. Nothingness really. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was just.
It was just bits in it that annoyed me. The horny levels were off the scale.
It was fine. You're right. I mean, it makes me want to go on holiday. I'll give it that.
Yeah. It had a similar thing as it didn't have as much as Love on Safari did of just shots. Though there was only
it wasn't quite as nice.
There's only some boat scenes and the Curly Shoes Market. Really.
I mean, the three things I wrote down were it's a bit random. Good advert for Turkey. It's fine.
Yeah. Put that on the front cover, yeah.
Yeah. It'll sell.
It is indeed Greg Facts, and unfortunately, not a great deal to do this week, but there is some comedy gold still to be dug out from here. So. Quickly go through the cast. Of course, Ashley Clements played Amy, who was in absolutely nothing of note according to her IMDb. I tried to find something even vaguely amusing. Nothing there. It just seems like she's done a lot of short films.
Okay, fair enough. She wasn't that bad.
No. Joshua was played by our writer and director as well, Brendan Bradley.
Two first names.
This is where the fun begins. Known for, we'll start with the basic one. He was a voice in the new Resident Evil, so he's going somewhere at the moment. He was in Resident Evil 8, in a film called Swing Town.
Kirsten goes on holiday.
We'll start there, and we'll escalate from there. He's also in a film called Boys Briefs 5, Schoolboys.
I've got to imagine, that sounds like a, what's that? Magic Mike, I bet it's like that, isn't it, that one? The amount of time he takes his top off in this, I'm sure it's something like that.
And he does get his bum out as well, yeah.
Shortly followed by Boys on Film 2, In Too Deep.
No, come on.
It's all very horny today.
They are
you all need to have some bromine and calm down, the lot of us.
After some research, they are just short film anthologies, but pick better names for your film.
Oh, right, so they're not in any way horny.
They're not in any way horny at all. It's just that they've been given.
I'd be disappointed if I hired that from the video shop and I get home and I'm like, right.
Even judging by the covers, you would go, this is certainly something I should be watching on my own. But no, it is just a collection of short films. This was released on February 14th, 2017.
This was
on video on demand.
Yeah,
it was a Valentine movie, yeah. It was indeed a Valentine movie. It was quite successful on the award circuits, on the indie award circuits, having its best night at the International Independent Film Awards in 2017, where it won Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Narrative Feature, Best Actor, and Best Actress.
Best director. I mean, we'll get to the rest of it. Best director. I forgot to mention that early on in the film, one of the first couple of scenes, it's the shakiest weird camera bit that I've ever seen in one of these films.
You have to put a shaky cam in everyone. Were these awards the Brendan Bradley Award for Best Director?
Yeah, just his own.
Sponsored by the Turkish.
Is it like R.L. Stein? Yeah.
I don't know how he got it, because there were certain scenes in there where the sound mixing was comically off, where
he went really loud.
The quality of sound sort of dipped all over the place, almost as if they didn't have a boom mic on set.
We'll just ADR it later, it's fine. Moving on.
Yeah. And as we've noted throughout this film was paid for mostly by Turkish Airlines and the Turkish Ministry for Culture and Tourism.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Yep. So
that's I mean, that's a good idea to do. If you've got a film that you want to bring it, touch.
I think there's a quote from. There was a quote from Ashley Clements, who played Amy, buried away on some interview somewhere, that said, "Oh, when you think of Under a Tuscan Sun, you think, oh, I must go to Tuscany." So that's what we wanted to do with this film.
They wouldn't pay for it.
Also, like the establishing shots in Under there's not a lot of actual Turkey you see here. You see 2 hotel rooms, the Curly Shoes Market, and a lot of docks.
Yeah. You see the fountain. That's it.
The fountain. Yeah.
The only one you see is the one that's on the hotel balcony when they're having that meal.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like.
No. You see more of San Francisco.
Yeah, if I was the tourism board, I'd have been whacking a lot more shots of them palling about, buying ice cream and stuff.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of it. I mean, even what was it? The one where they go to Haiti or whatever, or Colombia, whatever. The one the other week with Bernie Puerto Rico. That had more establishing shots of Puerto Rico than this did.
Like, the market that they went to in the film could have just been a stage for a week. Yeah, it wasn't like it was outdoor. Yeah,
the shots looked like it was from an advertising campaign for Turkish markets. Because it was
I can guarantee you that the Turkish Ministry for Culture and Tourism had final edit on the majority of this film.
No, keep the ass in. Yeah. Get the booby glass. Make sure. Yeah.
You know this is a bigger film than we're used to dealing with, because it actually had a Wikipedia page as well.
Really?
Yeah, it actually had a wiki. The director actually has his own Wikipedia page.
He wrote it. Even all the Turkish tourism board did.
Brendan Bradley is great.
So not a lot more information. I did try and do some more digging into some behind-the-scenes stuff, but like a lot of these straight-to-video films, they don't tend to document a lot of it. And the official website's now dead.
There was an official. Oh, they didn't do a space jam and keep it open.
No. So unfortunately, thus ends Craig Facts for another week.
Joe's reviews.
Interesting thing this week.
How interesting?
A lot of the 10-star reviews came out in February 2017.
Right when it was released.
Yeah, a lot of them sound very familiar to each other as well.
Sorry if I missed it. Did you say what channel this was on at all?
No, I think it was released. I think it's the equivalent of a straight-to-video, so it was released like VOD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Never had a cinema release. No,
no. I didn't know if it was on a specific channel, like the Hallmark Lifetime, whatever. But
no,
it's never get on Hallmark. Right?
It's still technically falls into our purview because it is video on demand.
Yeah. We only broke the rule once, and it was Christmas.
Shitty Patrick Stewart film.
So a lot of the negative reviews for this, because a lot of them were like, I watched this because it had 9 stars or something on IMDb, and it's because they basically positive review bombed it to get it higher up. Like, I don't know if you know, but like 9.2 is like Shawshank Redemption level of film. So it's dropped down now. It's like 4.8 or something on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. I think Rotten Tomatoes is a lot lower now because
Prime it was like 2.5 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 or something.
Yeah, but Mark Woolley with a lot of numbers. A truly dreadful movie, 1 out of 10. Viewer beware the swathe of positive reviews on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes that spontaneously came out when the film was released. It is truly awful. I don't think that's fair. The plot is dire, the acting dreadful. There is nothing to recommend it. The film was produced in cooperation with the Turkish Ministry of Tourism and Turkish Airlines, and it's a shameless video postcard for the country. Not really.
Not really. No.
I got mugged by the positive reviews, and we selected this as a family film to watch.
I mean, it says at the get-go it's drug reference, sex. It's a 12.
for the first time, it is actually accurate that there are sex references and drug references and bottoms. Yeah.
Ooh. I think this has to be the first one that's been anything
accurate.
Other than a PG or whatever.
Besides Breaking Legs.
Which didn't have no warnings. It should have had a
nope.
big siren on it.
Warning,
Bring acid for your eye warning.
When you bought the DVD of that, it did come with an eye wash station.
Couple of vials.
We couldn't even finish it. I only hope this warning will save other people their time and money. 1 out of 10. No, I don't think
that's a particularly harsh review. That's it.
But then this was March 2017, the 10-star review, so it's had a bit of time to ferment.
It's had a fortnight, yeah.
And it isn't. I don't think it's one of the original ones anyway. 10 out of 10, a fun viewing pleasure, a fun viewing adventure. I only picked this because it's written by the Pooh Twins, 23. So that's fun, isn't it? Yep, spelled P-O-O-H as well. My friends and I watched this movie during a girls' weekend, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. To be fair, we are already fans of Brendan Bradley and Ashley Clements. How can you be a fan of Ashley Clements? She's not in it. That notwithstanding, I really enjoyed the storyline, the humor, and the chemistry. Ashley Clements is the Pooh Twins. It was also really fun to see other actors who have worked with them on previous projects making cameos in this film.
Craig, what's your quick
They worked on a lot of short films, so there's probably some crossover in there somewhere.
The story was engaging and the scenery was stunning. Half of that statement is correct. I also love the concept behind partnering with local tourism boards, artisans, and businesses to make a film like this, and I'm excited to see how the film explores new ways of getting films made and of exposing audiences to different cultures. I highly recommend this film if you want a fun romantic. Yeah, Goebbels did it. A fun romantic comedy to enjoy. Again, I don't see if you're trying to make an indie film, why not get in touch with North Korea and say,
this film looked a hell of a lot better than it had any right to.
And finally, this is quite a long one, but this is the bad one. That is, this is 1 out of 10 by Prismark 107. Not to be confused with Primark 107, which is their in-house radio station.
Yay!
Non Transferable starts off well enough. Ashley Clements is a high-concept travel agent who surprises her boyfriend, Josh Merritt, with a surprise trip to Europe. He breaks up with her instead. Now stuck with reservations in her ex-boyfriend's name. Her friends suggest that if Amy cannot change the ticket, she should find a guy with the same name. Change the guy, not the tickets. So they searched the internet, found an alternative Josh, an easygoing, laid-back guy, in contrast to Amy, who was micromanaged her life in great detail. The moment the alternative Josh arrives, things start to go downhill with the terms of the script and the quality of the acting. They constantly bicker, are petty, slowly fall in love as they travel through Turkey, and start to argue again. The story is the pits. Amy is irritating. No wonder her boyfriend left. Her friends are annoying. Correct. Yeah. It's a surprise her boyfriend did not go postal on them. All right, mate. Worse still, when they find alternative Josh, they did not even check his online profile to find out what he does or that he speaks various languages. This is true. In fact, Amy goes on holiday with a stranger and does not even ask him basic questions when they first meet. Brendan Bradley, who plays alternative Josh, also wrote and directed this mess. It is a tiresome film, but at least he got the Turkish tourism board to pay for it.
That's very harsh.
Yeah, no, the character of Amy is kind of annoying, but yeah.
She is, but again, he was fine. He was charming enough. He's never going to get like mainstream work, but in the grand scheme of like male leads in this sort of film, he was charming enough.
Boys Brief 9, Briefageddon.
Yeah.
Again, sorry, Greg. Did you mention the Lizzie Bennet diaries for Amy Clements?
I saw it there. Is that something?
She's an Emmy-winning web series actress for something called the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. It was in It's still going. Oh no, sorry. It was 2012. She got 100 episodes.
Is that the one that killed her parents with an axe?
That's Lizzie Borden.
Right.
It's based
stretched that out over 100 episodes.
The Lizzie Bennet Diaries is an American web series adapted from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, but she won an Emmy for it. A web Emmy.
Well,
daytime Emmy. Not worth now. Like I said, I scrolled through and it just looked like short film, one episode. And it's like, there's nothing here of any sort of comedic or interest at all here.
I love
usually at least
the fact
something.
that they all work together, but I can't find anything to suggest that they did.
Like I say, there's a couple of short films that I think they did together, but that's about it.
This week's podcast of greatness, I've named it.
Well done.
Get a sponsor.
Yeah, there it is.
Is as no one has sent in idents for us or little promos, I'm still having to make these up myself. So this might be of interest for everyone, but it's the Sweet Chinwag Podcast. It's not just another wrestling podcast. It's deep, interesting dives into stuff that you never knew about, like the pretty insane world of professional wrestling. They cover like great wrestlers you've never heard of. Wrestlers in films was a good one. Suburban Commando. And like and in music as well. Full historical breakdowns of franchises and promotions. It's all presented in a very fun and interesting way. And you sort of learn stuff without even realizing you're learning it. So it's learning by osmosis. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, I would recommend it because it's interesting in many, many other ways than that. So get that up your. That's Sweet Chinwag.
Get that in your ear holes.
Get that up your earballs.
You'll find out wrestlers that you've never heard of.
Yeah,
unless it's The Rock.
A lot of them. Yeah. No, just ones that were great and just got like overshadowed over time, and it's just people who it's interesting to me as a wrestling fan, but also I see how you could appreciate it as a non-wrestling fan. With the wrestlers in films one particularly and stuff, or like the DDT Pro one is very good because Japanese wrestling is bonkers. Stayed up till 7 on Saturday night watching mud show Japanese wrestling in a fruit and veg market.
Yeah, I get abuse when I stay up to watch NFL and baseball.
You're not quarantining when you're doing it.
Days have lost all meaning.
Mine's a Sunday night usually.
I haven't got work the next day. Days have lost all meaning at the moment. So yeah, it was good. There was an old man who got hit in the balls it was great. Yeah. But
he's lost all concepts of time. It could be sunset in Turkey right now, and he wouldn't know.
I think they're about 2 hours, 3 hours ahead. In conclusion, that was Non Transferable. As always, if you'd like to keep up to date with all things Hallmark of Greatness, follow us on Twitter at Hallmark of Great, Instagram Hallmark of Greatness, email us hallmarkofgreatness@gmail.com, find us on Facebook by searching for us, have a watch of Joe on Friday by following on Twitch at Hallmark of Great. Is that right?
Yep. Starting the Doki Doki Literature Club journey this Friday.
Pretty sure you can go back on Twitch and watch his previous. Can you not? I thought you could.
I didn't save the video on demand thing.
Well, when Joe's let everyone down.
There was a button. I thought it would automatically do it. I have got it saved locally on my hard drive. If anyone really wants to watch me struggle through my
on YouTube. YouTube.
Put it on YouTube.
I'm not creating a fucking YouTube. You want a YouTube? Create a YouTube channel.
This is your hard graft, Joe. This is you.
I will punch you in the throat.
You want all the money from this. It's fine.
We're never making money from this. I've already said we're never making money. You can give the money to daft kids. I don't need it.
Any final thoughts other than they can give the money to daft kids?
Well, I think for example.
See you next time, everyone. Goodbye.
See you next week, guys.
She said the word penis, Joe.